Holy shit. Holy shit. The Screamcast is back, everybody. Welcome to the Screamcast. I am Sean DeRager. With me, as always, now and forever, as the good old Mike Delaney likes to say, Brad Henderson joins me. Brad.
Hello.
Welcome back to the Screamcast. Also joining us, the lovely, the endearing, the wonderful, the beautiful Stephanie Crawford.
Hello.
And finally, Mike Delaney.
Hey. Well, he stole my intro.
Did. All right, here we are all together. This is totally new for me, this whole video thing. So I am a bundle of nerves trying to make sure I don't fuck up. But I've been practicing with other things, so hopefully this works smoothly for everybody.
Me too.
Right? Okay. Our first awkward pause of the podcast. Well, like I said,
we got out of the way. We're good now.
Done.
Yeah, it's done. It's over with.
Well, we're back. We all missed each other so much. We decided, let's do the podcast again. Why'd we kill the podcast? So we're back. We're trying to simplify things.
Do you want an answer to that?
Sure. Yes.
We have an answer for why we killed the podcast. We had the text thread, and then you said, "Should we kill the podcast?" And then the three of us were all in bad moods or something that day. Said yes. 2 seconds later, Sean tweets out like a gravestone or something.
Yes.
Saying R.I.P.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I mean,
yeah, that's pretty much it.
I was under a lot of stress, and I decided.
Well, we were also very inactive for a long time.
Yeah, totally.
And, we were trying to make like little comebacks here and there with like the commentary thing, but we were just, all have different lives, busy. But after a while, we just missed each other and missed talking about movies. That's all.
The group chat's great, but it does not substitute for this at all. So yeah.
No, you don't hear Brad's gas coming up,
Well, I mean, the group text is mainly like threads of Brad and Mike, and then me and Stephanie will look at it and go, "Oh fuck, we missed a whole bunch of texts," and we're scrolling through, and then it's like, It's basically how it goes, right?
Yeah, I'll look at my phone and it'll be like 96 notifications. And it's just Brad and Mike talking to each other.
Hey, bro, did you have that chimichanga for lunch? Yeah, I had a chimichanga. Oh, chimichanga was amazing. Hey, did you see that new thing? Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, and then...
That's exactly how they text with that voice. That's perfect. You are good at this.
Yeah, I got it.
I guess so. I don't know if we've ever talked about what we've had for lunch.
No, I just totally made that
up.
Yeah,
I don't think so.
Do you guys want to open with that?
Well, I mean, you guys did,
If I had a chimichanga, I would definitely share. Chimichangas are amazing.
You guys...
The green chili and the Monterey Jack cheese, so good.
I mean, well, you guys were obsessed with Arby's, obsessed with Arby's for a while. So that's why I figured you and Mike, Brad and Mike would just talk about food,
Well, we were paid to be obsessed by Arby's.
Yeah, the rule is only be obsessed with Arby's if they're sponsoring you.
Got it.
Otherwise, it's weird.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, okay.
So to get on track.
Are we off track again already?
What?
To talk about what we're going to do.
Yeah.
Sean, we're going to talk about movies.
We are. Brad, you need to center yourself up.
No big introduction.
You need to center yourself up in your rectangle, Brad. You need to center yourself up. There you go. So if you're listening on the podcast, you just watch the YouTube video. Fuck podcasts. This is the new horizon.
I'm so sorry to everyone listening.
Anyways, talk about movies, and we'll have like a couple surprises along the way. But for the most part, just going to bring it back and just talk about whatever we want. Really no plan. Just talking about movies.
Okay.
That is the point, though. Movies. He didn't say horror.
Right.
Movies.
Yeah. Nothing geared towards anything specific. Just movies in general.
I can't plug
Nope.
Something that's not
No.
a movie.
No.
What if? I'm just kidding. All right. Sounds fantastic. So, all right, for this welcome back episode, we're calling it COVID and the Kitchen Sink is the title of this episode. We are going to basically do like an extended what's on your doorstep type thing. We'll kind of catch up on some movies we've watched over this hiatus and that kind of
Wait, over the
shenanigans.
hiatus?
Or whenever.
I thought we were just doing like the last week or two. We have to remember what we did 6 months ago.
Not if you have. Well, I mean, that's why you should have Letterboxd, Mike.
Yeah.
That's why you have
Letterbox
Letterboxd.
it, bro.
This episode not
That's what you
sponsored
should
by
do.
Letterboxd.
Bring up on the screen everybody's letterbox, and we'll just scroll through it.
Yeah.
Just us scrolling through our phones for Letterboxd. Whatever. I got a couple things to talk about. Not much. Brad has 253, I believe, movies to talk about. So what I'll do is I'll turn turn the video to him, and we'll all go take a break. We'll take a smoke break while Brad talks, and then we'll come back. Sound good?
Ooh, into it.
All right. Oh man. Okay. So who wants to start? We can do the round robin until we run out of stuff. Okay. Stephanie
can start.
Would you like to start?
Well, I guess I am the best at brevity, if I say so myself. Also, I pretty much only want to talk about one movie. So that's easy. So when we're on hiatus, I happened upon a movie that had a great gag title, a great punny, spoofy title. So I checked it out. It's called Look Who's Toxic. It's from 1990. It's ostensibly a horror comedy, but it doesn't really commit to anything, and that's part of its charm. Like it, basically, okay, I'm doing this all wrong. I need to set the stage. Okay. It's 1990. Give a hoot, don't pollute is on the lips of every God-fearing American. And that shows in the box office. From the dedicated waste removal specialist to Men at Work to Kathy Bates taking out the trash talk in Misery to Frank Henenlotter owning the cinematic landscape with the 1-2 punch of Frankenhooker and Basket Case 2. Society was ripe for Look Who's Toxic.
It's perfect.
You guys are terrible. Okay, so it's from a guy named Louis Matthew. It's the only film he ever did. It's from Alan Stewart, who did Ghost Warriors and Demon Warrior fame. And they show both of those movies in it. So basically, we have an evil guy who is dumping pollution into a small town's lake. And he also needs a heart transplant, and he goes through illegal means to get it. And, one thing comes to another. They kill a young guy for his heart. They dump his body in the lake, and he comes back for revenge. So it's kind of like Toxic Avenger if it was granola bars instead of junk food. It's interesting because it has the kind of jokes where like a surgeon is smoking in the hospital in front of a no smoking sign, and they hold on that for like 10 seconds. So that's the kind of level, like kind of at the beginning, you think you're going to kind of get something like The Suckling, because there's a lady's giving birth and it's messed up. Everyone's shocked, but they don't show anything. So
Whoops.
Sorry, it's such a movie of almost, and it doesn't deliver on anything. It's so unsatisfying that I'm completely obsessed with it. I just find it very charming.
It's kind of like when you mention like Toxic Avenger, like that type of thing. I always think of like Look Who's Toxic is very similar to like Splatter University, to where it doesn't really commit to anything. It's just really hokey and just really silly, and who the killer is. It's just very obviously like right away. But the fun thing about Look Who's Toxic is that it is produced by a FSU film professor, Frank
Okay.
Patterson, who produced a few movies, like 3 or 4 movies in his life, and they're just all very like just entertaining, like mindless, like fun. So, but yeah, I always like Look Who's Toxic, especially like doing a parody of Look Who's Talking, like as far as like the title, but you don't actually
Right, because that was just 1989, right? So that
Yeah, it
must
was
have
like
just-
88, and this one beat Look Who's Talking too, I think, or it
Yeah.
came out the same year.
Oh,
Yeah, I don't know. I'm glad you brought up Splatter University because I remember you recommending that movie, and when I saw it, I was like, "Really, Brad? Really, this one?" But you're right; it kind of stuck in my head, and I thought back to it, and I've seen this movie twice now, and I love it. So yeah, I don't know. I just really want to talk about Look Who's Toxic. I was pretty sure Brad would know about it. And it is narrated by the guy who did LBJ's voice in JFK and Forrest Gump. So it does have a pedigree.
Wow.
Ooh, I didn't.
Yeah,
know.
that's some classy stuff right there.
I just remember watching it and like thinking that there's going to be like toxic animals talking or something, because why would you title your movie Look Who's Toxic but not do a play off of Look Who's Talking? It was just
Right, and it opens up with that birth scene. So you're like, oh boy, that toxic baby is gonna.
Yeah, it doesn't go, like, I see what you mean. It just doesn't like push to anything. It's just kind of there. But yeah, I agree.
But yeah,
I do
it's
like
charming. It has some
that
great
is a good
gym
title
scenes.
for right-wing propaganda. You know, like if they did a documentary on some of those right-wing pundits, it could be Look Who's Toxic. Just reappropriate the title.
Yeah.
Probably. I was
Why
trying to
haven't
find
I
a
seen that?
I was trying to find a trailer for it, but I can't. All I found is the full film on YouTube, and then there's a reel of Lonnie film cameos.
Should we just watch it now?
Yeah, can we just screen it?
Just sitting.
it.
We can
we'll
riff
just
on
watch
it.
We'll just watch it.
Yeah. The
Everybody,
rest of this episode will be us.
You want to watch it right now?
We'll just broadcast it. We'll just broadcast it right now. We'll pirate a movie right here on the Screamcast.
With Captain Brad.
Captain Brad.
Awesome. So
Captain Brad,
all right.
the pirate.
I was trying to bring up the cover, and I actually made everyone turn into a web browser for a second. So I apologize, viewers. I apologize, listeners. You didn't see shit.
You'll get used to it. It's fine.
I'll get used to it.
It's not that big of a deal.
I'm kind of like scene switcher or whatever you call it in the news. In the newsroom / also like trying to think of witty things to banter with. So.
I feel like we're kind of channeling the awkward energy of Look Who's Toxic right now. So
Nice.
Well,
nice.
I
Good
can,
for us.
I can jump to 2 weeks in another town,
stuff.
which this was the first time for me. I don't know the reason why I watched it. I was just, picking something from, the library that I haven't seen before. I didn't know anything about this, to be honest with you, other than, Kirk Douglas was in it, but it was such a pleasant surprise. I mean, with the performances in it, especially Edward Robinson, who plays the character Maurice Kruger, is just like it really kind of captures this like golden age Hollywood style of course, but also kind of the underbelly of like cheap filmmaking that existed around the time. And I don't know, I've just never seen anything like that before, to where it's not a movie about filmmaking, but it has enough in it to kind of just dive into what around this time, even still today, what filmmakers go through as far as like these cheap movies that were being made around that time. But it's got a great cast. It has Sid Charisse, who is in the musical Silk Stockings, and what was something that it's always, is it Always Fair Weather? Yeah.
It's Always
Um,
Fair Weather.
Yeah, and
Singing
it's just
ladies
it, it
parade,
just
yeah.
has this like great cast. It's about, Kirk Douglas is it had I guess he was drunk. He had this awful car accident. He went kind of mad. Went into this, they say asylum, but it's just more like, a mental hospital. Washed up actor has this chance of right, and that's the other thing. It's kind of a story about redemption, about this washed up actor that has a chance to go fly over to with his buddy, this director that's directing a picture in Rome, to just this kind of throwaway comedy in a way, and these producers really don't even care about it, but he cares about anything that he does, so he gives them this like 2-week job on set, and then he just becomes kind of emotionally involved in different scenarios, with of course the director. There's a love interest, and eventually the director gets sick, then he has to take over the project, and then it just kind of circles back to his downward spiral again. But all in all, it has great character development. It's got a great script. The characters are, Maurice Kruger's character is definitely one of my favorites of all time. Just the camaraderie and kind of the buddiness that he has with Kirk Douglas in this movie just works so well on so many levels. But I really, we always have these golden age Hollywood movies, but this is kind of the underbelly of it that it shows. And that's what I like about it. It's a little dark too. And you don't get that a lot with these types of movies, especially around this time, or at least ones that I have seen. And then it didn't do well, apparently at the box office. It was kind of a bomb for MGM at the time. I think that's who released it. But it's just this really kind of amazing piece of Hollywood. Like, I love it. Perfect. That's my review.
Yeah, it's great. And I was surprised, and I think Mike was too, because we're both really big fans of The Bad and the Beautiful. And this is kind of a pseudo sequel of it. Not directly, it's in black and white, but they're definitely spiritual brothers, I guess. And one of my favorite scenes is they kind of riff off Cat People and how they had to make that low budget work in the first one. So yeah, they're great. So really see The Bad and the Beautiful soon. Next, get it right away.
I meant to watch it today.
Okay.
I didn't have the time, but I will watch it ASAP.
The storytelling format's really fun because you learn about each of these different people's relationship with Kirk Douglas, and you learn about it through separate stories, and then you find out like why they're all coming back together. It's really it's funny, it's dramatic, it's exciting. The Bad and the Beautiful is about as good as a Hollywood movie from that time gets.
Yeah. And Lana Turner's introduction is just one of my favorites of all time. So yeah, old movies, everybody. We love them. Yay.
Mike, what you got?
Oh, I got a lot of things, but I want to start with this one. Disorderlies.
I love
Ralph
that.
Bellamy.
No, Disorderlies is great, and so this ties back. Like last summer, I was watching Cooley High, and that was the first movie by Michael Schultz, the guy who ends up directing Disorderlies. But then I went through and watched some of his other ones, Car Wash, Crush Groove. But there's something about Disorderlies. It's almost like that John Turturro, Groucho Marx ripoff, the Brain Donors. This almost seems like the Fat Boys are the Three Stooges. It's just a fun, goofy afternoon at the movies. And my man came over. We had masks. We were 6 feet away from each other. But I put on Disorderlies. We watched it twice because it's so fun. Also, I remember in the 90s, in the 90s, they had this list in Entertainment Weekly that said the most famous bad movies by good directors. And someone must have been having a laugh with the editor because they said Disorderly was directed by Jean-Luc Godard.
I mean, I would love to see that version, but I want them both to exist.
Where is it?
Yes.
Yeah.
I saw this movie. I was all excited because I was younger, and it's an R-rated comedy, and right, it's R-rated comedy, right?
No, it's like
No?
it's like PG.
Oh,
Look,
you know,
it's
I
like
think I'm getting. Okay, I'm getting this confused. Isn't there a Richard Pryor kind of hospital movie? I'm getting this confused with the
I don't know.
with the
Not a
Richard
Richard
yelling
Pryor.
Pryor fan.
Pod.
Anyway,
iPod.
okay, never mind. I was
Shuffle.
totally crisscrossing these movies with other movies, as I usually do.
Crisscross.
We're back,
Crisscross
everybody.
will make you jump.
Screamcast is
Vacation
back. This is what I
is
do.
after the fact.
Yeah, I know.
mess up
I
movies.
think my first Disorderlies was one of the very first movies I rented when I was working at Blockbuster, and we just had the free rentals. It was one of the very I think it was like the first batch of that weekend that I rented, and that was like one of my favorite things to do. Is that I mainly saw everything in the horror section already, and like action and drama because of my mother, but it was like a lot of the comedies I just didn't get to see. So mainly when I would rent things at Blockbuster and go home and watch them, it was mainly stuff like that, like Disorderlies, Screwballs, The Recruits, stuff. I really enjoyed those types of movies. Still do.
Real quick, just what it's about, how asinine this movie is, because it's really charming. But the plot is insane. Where this kind of hedge fund, like nephew of this rich uncle. I don't know why they just didn't make him father and son, because the uncle nephew thing's like a little more like, sus, right? Like he's that close to his uncle, but he's got like a Cuban boyfriend, and they're like evil, and they want to kill the uncle to get all this money. And then the way they decide to kill the uncle, it's not like suffocate him. It's not anything normal like that, like push him or like drown him. It's not normal. What they want to do is they want to hire the worst orderlies that could possibly like be available for hire. And then through their negligence, the uncle will just die. But actually, well, I won't give away what happened. But
make me want to watch it again. It's been a long time.
I approve of that plot.
Oh, and it stars the fat boys who are adjacent with Are You Ready for Freddy, right?
Yeah, of course.
Are you ready for Freddy?
Man, I haven't seen this one in forever. I need to watch this sucker again.
All right, Daddy DeRegger.
Oh, it's my turn?
Yeah, what you got?
All right,
you
so
like lately?
Huh? So the first thing I'll talk about is when Wonder Woman 1984 came out, everyone was complaining about the whole body swap aspect of Chris Pine's character, coming back. Spoiler alert if you haven't seen Wonder Woman 1984.
I haven't.
Dang it!
It's okay, Scott.
So I won't spoil anything. So, Chris Pine, we all know from the trailer that he came back. So everyone's complaining about like the body swap aspect, and they're like, well, the writer should have known, like that's awful because Wonder Woman is having sex with like some random guy, and it's not really Chris Pine because his soul entered another body, and everyone's complaining about it.
Are you holding Quantum Leap?
And I'm like, none of you have seen frickin' Quantum Leap. Because this is a complete series.
Yeah.
If you're offended by this one thing in Wonder Woman 1984, watch this. There's
Dubious consent.
five
The show.
seasons. 5 seasons of things for you to bitch about. Jesus Christ.
Dang.
I bought
There's
Quantum
a lot.
Leap just because of the Wonder Woman conversation made me go out and buy Quantum Leap the series.
So have you been binging it in anger? And that's what you want to talk about.
I love this flick. It's so good. It's just so funny because like there's so much that like knowing how audiences react today to television series and things like that. It's just I watch it. I mean, I love this series. I love kind of thinking about like what would people say today if this was airing today. Of course, there'd be like so many things, that they would have problems
there's
with.
one where he There's one where he leaps into a man with Down syndrome, and then he keeps referring to himself with the R word. It's insane.
Yeah. No, he looks in the mirror and he says, "Oh my gosh."
Yeah.
Oh boy. Yeah.
Bradley.
Oh my god. So I've been having a blast rewatching Quantum Leap, and I mean, you know, it's just it's a great show that didn't really have like a resolved ending.
I used to watch that with my grandma.
Aw.
I don't ever remember it in resolving. So he's just still, in my mind, Sam is just, he's still, you know, hopping into bodies.
Yeah, it says he never got home. That's the last thing in the series. It says Dr. Samuel Beckett never returned home, and they misspell his last name.
They didn't care. They're like, this show's done. We don't care anymore.
So this is a little bit to the side, but does anyone want to start a Sliders podcast with me? Because every time Quantum Leap comes up,
I would love to start a Sliders podcast.
Thank you. I don't know. Quantum Leap and Sliders to me, I don't know. That's an evening.
I can approve of that. So yeah, Quantum Leap.
What was the show that I'm blanking on his name, the Quantum Leap guy? They showed up and they kind of spoofed it.
Yeah,
was it It's Always Sunny?
Oh, did they? I don't know. I missed that one. If they
I've seen maybe 2 of the It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia episodes. I'm awful at television.
And then if you're just a horror fan out there, Scott Bakula is the guy who stars in Lord of Illusion.
Yes.
Tied it back.
And there is an episode where he jumps into a horror writer's body too, which is pretty fun.
Yeah.
I think, yeah.
All right, Steph, what do you have for us after the Quantum Leap discussion here?
Nothing. That's it. That's the only movie I've watched.
What?
For about 3 months is Look Who's Toxic.
Look, I mean, I know we all needed comfort movies and stuff. I mean, I didn't watch horror for a good 7 months. Seriously, comedies and like
you did watch one horror
dramas.
movie.
Well, there's one I saw finally recently. Sean, have you seen Love and Monsters?
Yes.
Love and Monsters is so good.
Yeah, I feel like that's a good crowd pleaser and a very Sean kind of movie.
Love and Monsters is what Monster Hunter couldn't even wanted to be. Maybe it's a better Monster Hunter movie than Monster Hunter, with like some really great love stuff, like a really great love story.
That's the kind of movie I watch. I'm like, oh, I wish this was around when I was a kid. I would have lost my mind.
It's so good.
Oh yeah, no, it's great. We watched it together as a family, and yeah, it's really, really good.
Okay, and then real quick, I'm just catching us up on a couple titles because I curious about what you specific dudes think about them.
Oh.
So what everybody think about Possessor?
Oh, I love Possessor.
Possessor?
Yeah, I like Possessor. It went harder than I thought it would. And Possessor is the only one where in the last few months, people I haven't talked to, they'll just text me out of the blue and be like, "Have you seen Possessor yet?" So it seems to be the one that's getting a lot of horror fans on the fence to jump back in for scary movies, and then it seems to be pleasing the old fans too.
Yeah, no, it's one of those movies that I don't know, like I was really looking forward to it because obviously Cronenberg's son, even though obviously he's trying to do his own thing, but I remember seeing Antiviral and I wanted to really like it, but I just couldn't get into it. But I love the concept of how dirty it was. It just I felt dirty watching it, like people wanting to get STDs, kind of like, as their favorite actress or celebrity does. And I was just like, this is so fucked up and weird, but it works. But I just couldn't get that much into it. So I was really excited about Possessor, and it definitely took me for a spin that I wasn't expecting. I was expecting more like a straight horror, and it wasn't that. It was definitely kind of a mixed genre movie, and it was just really good. I loved it. And you
I-
get to see penis, which is, rare.
And that was only in the uncut version, right? Or the unrated version?
That's the only cut I've seen.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, I know
same
they
here.
released.
I am curious about
They
what
released
they
two
cut
cuts for some
out
reason.
then.
Yeah.
I
I'm
am
not
curious
I'm not gonna watch the no peen cut.
Yeah, no peen, no Brad.
Yeah.
That's what he says.
Only penises in this
But to
house.
circle back on Love and Monsters, how crazy was Brian Duffield's career in 2020? Like having Underwater, Spontaneous, Love and Monsters, and Babysitter Part 2. Like he had 4 movies in 1 year.
Well, someone had to have a good year.
Yeah, I'm telling you. I mean, the movies, obviously he was writing these beforehand, but having all this stuff come at once. And I feel that Spontaneous and Love and Monsters would have been a lot bigger if they had festival runs and maybe the theater.
Oh, yeah.
Because Love and Monsters definitely could have went to the theater, 100%.
Yeah, probably high concept kind of genre bordering movies like that, unfortunately, don't do that well anymore. But yeah, I agree with you.
But it would go in line with like that diversion stuff. And obviously is his name Dylan O'Brien? He has the Maze Runner success and, kids like that. So I imagine it would have done okay. Spontaneous, not so much, but Spontaneous was a great movie as well. A great love story that is bloody as shit. Oh my gosh. I loved how much blood was in that movie.
I have not seen Spontaneous yet.
Babysitter Killer Queen, not so much. I didn't really care for that. But of course I loved Underwater a lot.
Yeah. No, Underwater was a highlight of 2020 for sure.
Yeah, that was definitely one of my favorites.
That was the last that was the last film I saw in a theater.
Yeah. Same.
Fuck you,
here.
2020.
Yeah. So on top of talking about the golden age of movies and the 40s and 50s, we're going to talk about The Secret of My Success with Michael J. Fox.
Oh, yes.
Which is definitely a script from the 1950s that was never updated, made into an 80s movie. Because obviously, we had a lot of these movies at this time with, in back in the day, like the 50s and stuff like that, had films with, the success stories or whatever. And yeah, it just feels like this movie was written in the 50s, pulled out of a desk, and then said, okay, let's make a movie. We'll make this one. It's not bad. I definitely enjoyed it. I wasn't bored. It has Helen Slater in it from, Supergirl and Billie Jean. And like it has a good cast too. Between Margaret Whitten, who is, R.I.P. She's wonderful in it, but it's just one of these movies that it's definitely geared towards, like, it feels like it should have been geared towards children because of the kind of the paper thin plot that it has, along with just how absurd it was that you have, this Kansas City kid lives, on a farm, goes to, New York City, has this job lined up, gets this really shitty apartment that they never really talk about, but they just have this one scene where he just has all these clutter and obviously rats are there. So he goes to his job the very first day, super excited. He's majored in something, but it's never really discussed what his education is. But I guess the corporation or the office, I'm going to have to do something with business, of course, is shutting down and he loses his job day one. But he has like a distant family member in there, an uncle that runs like a Fortune 500 company. So he goes there basically pleading after doing numerous interviews and getting turned down that he doesn't have any experience or he's too experienced, as far as the education is concerned. So he gets a job in the mailroom that his uncle puts him in. And then he, does odd jobs. He drives this woman to her home. He, just tells her that she looks pretty because she's obviously down. He fucks her. And then it turns out to be his aunt. And it's
Wait, what?
like, okay. Like, it's his aunt. And like they find out, and it's like
By marriage.
there's
so I
no
shouldn't
morals
watch
in
this with the kids.
Well, no, there's no like sex. You just
Okay,
it's
it's
after
all-
the fact, and they talk about it. But consistently through the movie,
Yeah.
his
You
aunt
said
is
fuck,
obsessed with
Brad.
having sex with him.
Is there like a line of dialogue where she's like, "Oh, I wish you didn't come inside me"? Like, how do you know he's
Oh no! But there's this constant like she's really trying to bang him consistently through the movie. She wants to get him alone, and there are scenes like that, and it's like there's no morality to it. There's like everybody's kind of a piece of shit, even Michael J. Fox in the movie. And so he, just how they speak to people, how they speak to each other, it's just so absurd that this is the most 80s movie that I've seen in a long time, where it's like you watch it and it's like, this is so much the fucking 80s that it's like oozing out of the screen.
Well, I think even the title,
and
Secret to My
Helen
Success,
Slater is,
like that kind of title, it's like, that's like the 80s was all about that.
What was the secret? He fucked Stan?
That's the thing, is that there actually is no secret, because what he does is that he's in the mail room and he finds this abandoned office of this guy that was recently fired, and he goes in there and he creates basically there's a phone, and he creates this other character that, this office persona, a person that he's trying to infiltrate his way into the business to save the business. But it's
like,
so absurd.
Yeah.
No.
Well, they take Michael J. Fox seriously because he looks like a kid.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, Brad, like you said, it feels like it should be made for kids. That's perfect, because it plays out like a child's idea of what being a grown-up is. Like,
Right,
there's
yeah,
sex
that's exactly
without
what
any
it is.
sex. There's no paperwork or red tape. You're just like, oh, if I'm professional in this office, I have the job. So
Right,
yeah, it
and
works
he's
as
doing
like
all this work, but he's getting paid mailroom salary for all this stuff. And it's not really said what he's actually doing there. He just starts working in this office and starts doing deals. But
he's
it's
a
like,
yuppie. They used to pay you
why
for
does that
being a
work?
yuppie.
Even blank check makes more sense than this.
Right. That's what I was going to say. Because Karen Duffy totally wanted to fuck the kid in that one.
Oh,
just
no, don't say that. That's terrible.
No, well, she did.
Well,
So the
help for the
crazy thing
screenwriter.
about this is directed by Herbert Ross, by the way. All right, Herbert Ross did the Sunshine
choreographer.
Boys, Footloose.
Yeah.
And he also did the amazing Goodbye Girl. And it's crazy to think that he did something like this. But anyways, he did. And here's the thing, Sean. You want to know the thing is? It's
like to know the
written by
thing.
the guys that did Top Gun. So that should explain everything right there.
It actually does. As much as I love Top Gun, I get it. I get it now.
By the guys that wrote Top Gun, and it's just an absurd movie. And here's the thing: it's not bad. It's very enjoyable. It's got a great soundtrack. Michael J. Fox is always watchable. But it's just like, if you're trying to make sense of the movie in heads or tails, you're not going to do that. You're actually going to be angry at the plot of the movie. Just sit back and enjoy one of the cheesiest movies I've seen from the 80s.
What is it rated, Brad? What is it rated?
What is it?
What is it rated? Like, was it an R-rated?
PG. Yeah, PG-13.
Yeah, because that was when they always showed on TV in the 90s. But whenever I would watch it, it always felt like something was missing. But based on your review here as a full-blown adult, just sounds like a crazy movie.
Yeah, it's that's the thing, is like, it's not like, oops, I screwed my aunt. Ooh, you're my nephew. You're part of my family. No, it's like, let's do it again. And I'm like, wait a second, why is that actually happening? I was like, there's no morale. There's like everybody's a piece of shit. Helen Slater's fucking the husband of the aunt. And then, he's trying to have the aunt spend more time with the nephew, but he doesn't know that they're trying to have sex. But there is
Tell
this
him
really great scene when they're in this like mansion, like spending the weekend of them trying to go to each other's rooms. It's very comical, like Scooby-Doo-ish. But other than that, like, yeah, I mean, it's if you just want something mindless, this is it. And it's not funny. There's no funny jokes. It tries to be really funny, but it's not funny. But it's not bad. That's the crazy thing. It's like I couldn't dislike the movie. I was just like, it's fine.
Is that the Mill Creek released that, right? Wasn't the Mill Creek?
No, this was Kino Lorber. So the first one was
Kino did it.
Archive,
yeah,
or Archive, and this one was you could tell by the
the spine, Kino spine.
Kino
okay.
Lorber.
I mean, I bought it. I just forget. I just don't pay attention.
Disorderly DVD by Warner Brothers. You can see the shield.
Is that shit on blue? Is that shit on Baby Blue yet? Is that on Baby Blue yet? Not on Blu-ray.
Disorderlies? No, I don't. So.
All right, let's pirate it. Let's start up. Let's start up a channel and pirate it. Let's watch Disorderlies, everybody. Let's put on Disorderlies right now.
That would be fun. I would be down for that. Brad, to piggyback on the 80s-ness of The Secret to My Success, really quick, 2 very 80s documentaries in the last year. Class Action Park, fun documentary about Action Park in Vermont, right?
Yeah.
One of the craziest theme parks ever, like run by teenagers, founded by this crazy megalomaniac that doesn't want to follow any of the rules, cover-ups with death, alcohol, it's just the most 80s shit ever. And they got some good footage from like Headbangers Ball when they would film out there, like the MTV during the summer. So I recommend that. Oh, and they made that Johnny Knoxville movie, right? Action Point.
Park.
Action Point.
Action Point.
It's based on Action Park. It's the most realistic Johnny Knoxville movie just for that reason. And then the other one is Console Wars. I did like that. Based on Blake Harris's book about the war between Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis. I mean, Nintendo and Sega, but it mostly focuses on the 16-bit era. And that was a lot of fun. There's some good animation in there, and it's kind of done in that style of like the Toys That Made Us, you know, where it has like a goofy kind of narrator, and they're like, wait, what did he say? And then it goes, and then they like rewind, and you know, then they're like, we have to go back to Japan. And you see like the plane go. So it's not like a boring Ken Burns documentary.
It's great.
But the movie I want to talk about really quick is Dig. So you can't see it because of the light, right? But Dig.
I see it. I don't think I've ever seen that.
Right there.
I've seen that movie about 100 times with and without the commentary.
Yeah, I mean, Dig is just one that I put on when I want to go somewhere else. And what's fun is the place you get to go in Dig is, San Francisco and LA in the early 90s, and, places where I was. So it was kind of like looking in, it's like going in a time machine for me. Plus also I was into, I was actually into the Dandy Warhols before I was into the Brian Jonestown Massacre, but this film really fucking turned that wagon around. But
what year is it from?
I haven't seen it. It won Best Documentary the year it came out at Sundance. It might have even won Best Film at Sundance. I don't know, but amazing documentary about the rivalry between the Brian Jonestown Massacre, which is a band. It's not like a Jim Jones thing. Yeah, that was Jonestown.
A bit.
And then the Brian Jonestown Massacre, and then their like friendly fake rivalry with the Dandy Warhols, who kind of rise up in the kind of like what would you call it, like power pop rock that was happening at the late 90s, early 2000s. But if you know the Veronica Mars theme song, then you know the Dandy Warhols.
Yeah, they were actually on the radio when I was growing up in Albuquerque, but I hadn't heard about the Brian Jonestown massacre until I saw the documentary. And then I became a huge fan. But yeah, how long did she follow them?
Oh, I forget. I don't know how long she followed them for, but it was 2,000 hours of footage. So, I mean, you just do the math. There's like at least 10 hours in one day, right? And then plus another day would be like another 10 hours. So it's like basically 3,000 days, I think she followed them.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
It is. And that's when I would definitely get the DVD for, because the deleted scenes are incredible. They have the Dandy Warhols do a commentary on it, and it's incredibly biased and mean. It's hilarious.
It's out of print.
What? It's out of print?
Is it expensive out of print?
$45.99.
Mike.
Well,
I'll probably be able to get it on eBay though. That's off of Amazon.
All right, so new thing. If you pay us $20 a month, we will start up a YouTube channel and we will pirate movies for you to watch.
I don't know if you want this stuff on record, Sean.
Why do you keep saying that? It's 2 DVD special edition, $8 on eBay.
Yeah, get it. That's perfect way to spend $8. I put it up there with American Movies as one of the best documentaries about American creatives out there. I love it.
And the director of this, Andi Timor, she just did one called Coming Clean, a documentary about the opioid tragedy going on in America right now. So, yeah, she's one of the best documentarians out there.
Interesting.
Was that for Netflix? Do you know?
I don't know.
Okay.
All right, Daddy Director.
Clean. I was thinking going clear. That's the give me.
No, that's Scientology one.
Yeah. All right. So after me, we'll do one more trip around the through the
memory lane.
I don't know. One more trip around the sun. I don't know. But I wanted to talk real quick about, and this is kind of like we'll have a topic of discussion here, and I've been talking about like pirating movies and stuff, but the movies I wanted to talk about real quick that I finally had watched, and I hadn't watched them forever because you couldn't find them on Blu-ray. You couldn't find them anywhere except maybe DVD and VHS. Yeah. But the first one I'm going to talk about is can I get this to show? Boom. Fright Night Part 2.
Hey.
Which I finally watched for the first time in my life. And I had an absolute blast with this film. I may have enjoyed it even more than the original Fright Night. It's just a bit more...
No, I like Fright Night 2 more than first Fright Night.
I mean, Fright Night is great. Like, it's a fantastic film. This is just kind of goes in a whole other... And it's another level. You have like a werewolf vampire... some even crazier effects, and there's more vampires, of course, in this one. I'm glad they kept, the same character. His,
got a better cast.
Huh? A lot better cast.
It's got Brian Thompson, Tracy Lynn, what's the other? Julie Carmen. It's got Julie Carmen in it. Brian Thompson eats bugs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the vampire on roller skates.
And the funny thing is, like, with him eating bugs, because like apparently in the novelization of the original Fright Night, I can't remember the main vampire's name. I'm a horrible horror fan.
Gary Dandridge.
He's always Chris Who's the actor?
Jerry
Chris
Dandridge
Sarandon.
is the character's name.
Chris Sarandon's character is always eating
Sarandon.
fruit because apparently he used to be a fruit bat or got bit or something like that. There was like some history in the bat lineage of his vampire character that he came from fruit bats. So like there's this weird like, you know, little thread that is never explained in the movie, but is explained was I guess in the original script that these vampires take on some attributes from like their ancestor bats that they came from or something like that. So like, you know, with that vampire in Friday Night 2 eating the bugs all the time, it's just so incredibly random. And, you know, but I had such a blast with this flick.
It sounds like you gave it some context.
What's that? What'd you say,
I
Mike?
said it, but it appeared random. But now that you gave us some context, it kind of makes sense to me.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine it would be maybe it was in the original script, and then they must have had notes, or they just copied, they followed kind of Chris Sarandon's lead and was like, I'm gonna eat weird shit. I'm gonna eat weird shit in this movie. But Fright Night 2, there is an HD version of it, and it's streamed on certain channels. But of course,
because there is a laser disc.
There's a laser disc, but I mean, so some people have cleaned it up, and and this is like the gray area of bootlegging, right? So there's a bunch of bootlegs. You can find things for Fright Night 2. You can see it. It's available in some sense, but like the filmmakers or nobody involved is getting paid. So
yeah, it'll flicker on and off Prime occasionally for like,
right.
And who knows who puts it there, but it'll just kind of flick on and off.
Fright Night 2 is like the Heartbreak Kid of horror. It just kind of shows up when it feels like it.
Which I think there's some sort of rights involved.
Well, fun fact is that I don't know how fun this is, but there was originally going to be a Fright Night 3, and it was in production for the most part as far as pre-pro, but it was all canceled because Richard Menendez was the producer of it, and then he was murdered by his kids.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. If a reason's gonna get a movie,
yeah, he was the original owner, and there's like some like talk like that's the reason why the rights are tied up, but that's not the reason why.
Do you know?
It's just the company that owns it doesn't give a shit.
They're bastards. Well, yeah. So that's Fright Night 2. So I mean, I'm late to the party.
Lyle,
what's that?
Nothing. I was just gonna. Nothing.
Got it. Okay. So the next movie we want to talk about. So Friday Night 2. I'm late to the party. If you're a horror fan, you've seen it. But it would be great if some company put out an amazing Blu-ray copy of this, because there is, like I said, there's an HD copy out there. But if some company ever did it, can get the rights from whoever owns them, that'd be amazing. The next movie I wanted to talk about, let's take Fright Night 2 off and put this is Harry, Hello Mary Lou, Prom Night 2. Harry Mary Lou. Hello, Mary Lou, Prom Night 2. Holy shit, I can't talk. Nothing's changed. Nothing has changed.
Good, never changed, Sean.
Wait till you get some names.
Hey, so Prom Night 2 is another, I enjoy it way more than the first film. It was apparently, they took the script, they took the movie was made, they slapped Prom Night 2 on it just for marketing purposes. Really has nothing to do with the original Prom Night, I guess with the exception of a couple maybe the name of the school's the same. But this thing is a lot more supernatural, bonkers, crazy ass shit, and this thing. It's frustrating that these films that are actually more fun than the originals are nowhere to be seen. I think Prom Night 2 is on DVD, right? So my question to the panel today is so we've had talked. I kind of posted something on social media week or so ago about, what do we do when there's these films, that, aren't available? Do we kind of Robin Hood this shit? Do we post it? Do we, what do we do? And some people are, doing these YouTube channels, which is why I keep referring to these YouTube channels. And they're creating these things where like, well, this movie's not available, so we're going to broadcast it. Well, then it turns out like they don't do any research, and somebody actually does own the rights, and they actually are preparing, a new release.
People court about
Yep, there's a whole People's Court recently.
People's Court. There's a recent People's Court
That was
episode
great.
with Massacre video, which is definitely worth watching. And that's what kind of got me thinking about all this stuff. Because I do own some bootleg Blu-rays in my collection. If a good release comes out, I will definitely buy the new release. My money will go to the right people. But there's this, temptation that we want, for us physical media collectors, we want things in our collection. Or if you're just a movie fan, you want to see these movies. What do you guys think about? Is there rules? Is it the Wild West? Should people post things and then if they're caught, take it down? What do you all think?
Well, I'll go first because I have a quick answer. I wouldn't do it online because you got tons of eyes on you and shit.
Yeah.
But there are some of the best bootlegs that you could buy at Amoeba in Berkeley. You could get on DVD. I got Angel Egg. I got Soderbergh's Kafka. I got Grizzly Redux, like a really fucked up comedy version of Girdler's movie. All those Turkish exorcism, Turkish Star Wars, Turkish, what was the one? Russian Star Trek. That one's amazing. But I recommend buying those. They're just like $10 a pop, and that shit's not even online.
All right. Brad, you have opinions.
I have lots of opinions. My thing is that yes, movies need to be seen. That's the end of, that's basically the end result, is that movies deserve to be seen. They deserve to be watched. However, I don't think that anybody should be making any profit off of this stuff, no matter who they are, whether they're putting on DVD, whether they have, a YouTube channel. So the thing is that on YouTube, you have to be careful with certain things, because the thing is that they have so many subscribers on this YouTube channel, they're still getting money from the times that you watch the video. With their subscribers count, like over 1,000, they actually start seeing revenue. And a lot of these channels, they do have quite a few subscribers. So my only issue, the same thing as if you go to a convention and they're selling bootlegs of movies. Yes, like the movie's not available, but I just don't understand. I think the biggest thing is that the majority of people are not going to upgrade when the actual movie comes out on like a real like release,
right,
as far as whoever releases.
Right.
You and I will, sure, like if we own a bootleg. But honestly, like, I have a large collection of movies that are unavailable. And I would say that I've probably only bought like 2 bootlegs in my life. Let me take that back. I used to do a lot of car booting and stuff like that when I was younger. Going and did we lose Sean?
No, I'm here. We just got we lost. Did we lose Mike? Technical
so. Can you hear me?
difficulties. We can hear you. But now I gotta.
Okay. Let's go and hear me.
All right, I gotta.
I don't know if this is recording though. So Sean, are you?
No, it's recording. We're good. It's recording. We're it's all good. I'm just trying to.
Okay.
I'm trying to move all this stuff around.
All right.
And get us back to where we were. Hold on, let me see. Brad, Stephanie, we're back now. Mike, you're just a telephone.
So my thing is, I'm never going to sit here and say that I've never downloaded a movie, never done anything like that. Of course I have. But
would you steal a car, Brad?
Here's the thing, though, is that I would, piracy is going to happen. No matter what, it's going to happen. But my only beef with stuff is that when you're actually giving money to a entity that is selling the product that they don't deserve it, and they haven't earned the right to do so. And not earn the rights as far as even licensing. I just don't think anybody should profit off of somebody else's work.
What about like The Wizard of Oz? No one who made that movie is alive today. So should Warner Brothers keep getting money for it?
Well, I mean, if they own the rights in perpetuity and that's what they paid for and that's what they produced, yeah. I mean, it's the same thing as like, it's just like a hand-me-down as far as the people within the company. It would be like if your great grandparents owned a house, just because they're dead for 100 years doesn't mean that someone should just move into the house and grab it because the owner's originally dead.
Well, I'm just saying it didn't fit the exact statement that you made. That I think you said that, or what I heard was that if you didn't make the movie, then you don't deserve to get the profit.
Right, but here's the thing: is that 9 out of 10 times owners aren't actually seeing money. It's the company that initially bought it. But if you're a company that spent, $30,000, $3 million, $30 million to own the movie, or you produced it, then you own sole ownership. So no matter what it is, just because it's a corporate of a company doesn't mean that they shouldn't see anything else. Yes, I would rather people, download a Marvel movie than an indie movie. Sure. Because that's obviously, the Marvel movies made its money back, but it's still not the point. It's still theft. And but my thing is that if you're going to do it, download it from a source, go to the YouTube station, don't watch the video, just rip it off of YouTube and then watch it. Try your best not to give money to these people. And then the fact that people actually manufacture these like DVDs and Blu-rays is just beyond me. I don't understand it. And most of it's lies. Like I always see people on these forums and Facebook groups saying 1080p Blu-ray. No, it's not. There's no restoration done. There's it's the same thing as like that. The People's Court case when the guy said he restored the movie. No, he didn't restore anything. He grabbed a copy of it and he played with it like an Adobe like Final Cut or something.
Yeah, it sounded like he put a filter on it or something.
Right,
ran it through some
There's
sort
no
of
restoration,
software.
And plus he has no right to put it on there and make any money. And I think essentially that's kind of the long term is that if you have a company that is bootlegging a really nice copy of any movie. It doesn't have to.
I have one of the Devils that looks really good, actually.
That's the thing is like a lot of this stuff really does look nice. So when it is available, sometimes people just won't upgrade. But it's amazing to me how much work is put into bootlegs just to make a quick buck. But as it's been shown recently with kind of this People's Court is that some companies can take you down. They can take you to court for this stuff, because sometimes ownership passes into the distributors. Sometimes owners just pay attention to their stuff. And it's really not about like these people are withholding their movie. It's not like a producer that made this movie, like Look Who's Toxic, made this movie in the 80s and he's sitting there and he's just, doesn't want the movie out there. Sometimes people just don't know. A lot of people don't know that there is this this boutique like label and this niche label of like all these old movies can be re-released. A lot of these people just think these movies were just throwaways to make a quick buck. I mean, I hear it all the time when I contact, producers or, directors or actors even, hey, we're re-releasing this movie. And the first question I get is, why are you doing that? Like they see no value. So again, it's not like they're sitting there with money bags in their eyes, like waiting for people to upload so they can sue. There are some people that don't want their work out there. And that's the other thing. Like it's might be their wish to do that. And that's where you come into kind of like, a kind of a morality aspect is that maybe they're a born again Christian. They don't want their movies out there. But again, that goes back to my all movies should be seen, but just don't steal it or don't purchase the bootlegs. Just stream it somewhere where no one's getting any money, or just download it. And this is for stuff that's virtually unavailable, not for a new movie. Just because it's not streaming on Amazon Prime or Shudder and it costs $20 on Vudu doesn't mean you download it. But like if there is something like Look Who's Toxic, of course you have to watch it. I'm going to watch it, but I'm going to find out another means. Again, I have, kind of the benefit because I'm a member of Cinemageddon. So it does change things for me. I don't have to scour YouTube. I don't have to, do that.
You always have to rub
money.
that in.
Huh?
You always have to rub that in.
Man.
Well, no, I'm just saying, like, I think that's like the end goal is trying to find something that you can actually download and keep and then watch and not purchase it, not give anybody money. You can have it at your own leisure, watch it, champion it, tell other people to watch it. And that's how a lot of these movies gain their cult status. And that's the great thing, because then sometimes that crosses over to the owners.
Yeah.
Sometimes, a lot of studios, distributors see that. Arrow, Vinegar Syndrome, Code Red, whoever it may be. They'll see, people are talking about this. Let me investigate. And they'll find the right. And sometimes that's how things play out.
Stephanie posted a good example of that type of movie today, which was Streets of Fire, which when I was growing up, Streets of Fire was kind of like an Ishtar where people just didn't even pay attention to it because it flopped at the box office or whatever, and they didn't get the rock and roll fableness of it all, And then it's not until they look at Walter Hill's output, 15 years later that people started to like Streets of Fire, to the point where, like, I remembered, that was a movie that people made fun of when I was a kid. They would think it was like a cheesy, dumb thing to be into, but then, the nerds win because Streets of Fire.
Yeah. I mean, it's the same thing as like I remember, growing up, being a young kid, and trying to find Return of the Living Dead. Like you couldn't. It was so hard to find, but there was so much talk about it. So many people wanted to see it. And of course, MGM got wind of that, and they re-released it on DVD after all those years. And I'll never forget going to Best Buy, and there was like 50 copies of it on DVD that day. But that's the thing is that, you had, and Monster Squad was another one. It's hard to picture like those movies were unavailable at one time because they're everywhere now. But the reason why they're everywhere is that you had people watch them, you had people talk about them, you had people champion them, and then companies and studios, and whoever it may be, they realize that, they understand the movie's wanted, and then they'll re-release it, I mean, that's the whole thing. One of the reasons why I wanted to go after Spookies is that it was people wanted to see it. It's not a great movie, but people wanted to see it. It has been bootlegged to death, and that's and people do take notice of that. We, as a company, we notice those types of things. So, but again, the only way you're going to see it is if you actually, have to watch it illegally. But I don't look at that as a bad thing. If obviously people don't have VCRs hardly ever today. So buying a VHS copy for $50 is not going to work. It's not on DVD. It's not on Blu-ray. It's not on any streaming service. Of course you have to fucking watch it illegally. There's nothing wrong with that. If it's not legally if it's not available legally to purchase, in a format that is, fitting, that's not outrageously priced, then yeah, buy it. But for the most part, a lot of these old movies, you have to, that's just how it
What
is.
about Nightlife? I need that one from
The
1989.
zombie
The
morgue
zombie
movie?
one, yeah.
Yeah, like, that's another one. I still have my VHS of it.
I would love to get rid of it.
Yeah,
I know.
so,
Radioactive Dreams.
Maybe there's
yeah,
I mean, maybe there's a company that can.
Here's the thing, like,
Let's just shout titles we want at Brad
I was gonna say,
and hope for the best.
I was gonna say maybe
He
there's
loves
a company.
that. I know it.
Maybe
I
there's a
love
company that can help us, Brad. Is there a company that can help us?
there are several companies that can help us. Several companies.
Not
I
just,
have
not
a
just
quick
one.
question.
Sure. Steph has a question.
Well, when you're talking about things getting claimed on YouTube, and sometimes I'll notice I'll click on something, it'll say copyright claim by Vinegar Syndrome or those specific companies. Do you guys ever get specific blowback because of that? Do you ever get like angry messages that you're taking movies away from the people or anything along those lines?
No, I don't think so. I mean, if something's up there that we do, or anybody, I mean, Severin does it, Shout Factory does it. Some people care, some people don't. And when I say some people, it's like companies and stuff, because there's MGM movies that are uploaded on, YouTube, and MGM doesn't give a shit apparently. But again, it's like a full-time job trying to find that stuff. But if it's there in plain sight and we see it, well, yeah. But I wouldn't say like angry emails or anything like that. It's just, again, part of it's the research, as Sean said, like trying to find out. But again, we can't wear this hat of like, anybody releases a movie. Arrow releases, Cinema Paradiso. Not everybody that likes that movie knows that movie's available on Blu-ray. I see it all the time. Is that people? I mean, someone just recommended a movie to me today, like, "Oh, you should release this," and Scorpion did it. And sometimes people just don't type in like this movie Blu-ray, and they'll see that it's there. A lot of copies, or a lot of movies miss people, and that's fine. And sometimes these are up, YouTubers, people that upload them on YouTube and don't do the proper research. But, it's not about punishing them. It's just like, hey, this person obviously owns the rights to this, or, we own the rights to this. That's not cool. It's not to, sue people and put people in jail or whatever it may be, but it's just kind of setting the record straight, I guess you could say.
Well, good to hear it's friendly.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is that it's a messy. It's very muddy and messy, like kind of road to go down when you're talking about all this. I just wish there was more of a morality aspect when you're actually doing it, because the thing is those commercials, like, you wouldn't steal a movie, you wouldn't steal a car. No, you wouldn't. That's the thing.
Well, I mean,
you wouldn't do that.
But some people that watch movies in the theater or at home do steal cars. Like, people do steal cars, so they're talking directly to those people. It's like the bumper stickers that say "Stop Sex Trafficking," and I'm like, oh, I'm going to stop doing that now because
So basically, just hopefully Mike won't get into the bootlegging business, because
I can't bootleg. I could barely bootlick.
But honestly, being in this business for a little while, there are movies that will never see the light of day. Again,
That's true.
That's just how it is. Like
the day the clown cried.
Running list of stuff that will disappear because of certain stipulations.
Yeah.
And that's sad. So, bootleg it yourself and put it on a disc.
Yeah.
And keep it. Just don't sell it.
Just don't sell it.
Heard it here.
Well,
Brad Henderson, bootleg it yourself.
We are at 1 hour and 15, so I think it is time to wrap the show up.
I thought we had another round.
Well,
yeah, you said another round.
I
Let's
know,
do a
but then I kicked us off in a discussion, which I think was a pretty great discussion about.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sean, you did a good job, but give us one more round.
We gotta. I'm sweating in this booth. I gotta.
No, I'm with you, Sean.
I gotta get out of the booth.
That's fine.
We gotta leave.
We can.
We gotta leave stuff for our viewers and listeners. We gotta leave them hanging so they come back next time. So
if they come back after this,
I know.
bless them.
So
Troopers.
Well, we're gonna try to make this more of a steady thing. I think every 2 weeks. We may even, once we work out all the kinks of kind of doing this YouTube thing, try to go live, and so that'll be kind of a whole new world for me.
That should be really fun.
I never want to go live. Mike's showing off Brute Force. Is that another thing we need to check out,
Hey.
Mike? Brute Force.
Yeah, no, it's Burt Lancaster too. No, that
Is that Burt Lancaster?
Yeah. Look.
Cherry Fall. Come on, leave stuff for us to talk about next time. Come on.
I didn't bring any discs. This is terrible. I have Cherry Falls. Remember when that was on a VHS with Terror Track with John Ritter?
Yeah,
those were the days.
Oh yeah.
Well, drop us all a line. You go to thescreamcast.com. Brad, you got access again to the website, so you have started playing around on there. We're going to be revamping the site. What are you showing off?
Is that Killing Miss Tingle?
No, that was Witchcraft.
That was Witchcraft. Ladies should listen.
A Cary Grant I haven't seen.
Okay, look. I'm going to give Brad 30 seconds. 30 seconds to show off movies.
Wait, this is just wait. We have to have a segment that's just for people who watch the video. So all Brad and I should do, and Steph, go grab some, Sean, go grab some. Let's just show off other movies we've been watching and not say anything. Don't say anything.
No, because then
Sean,
I don't have a music bed lined up. Hold on, let me grab a music bed. Hold on, let me grab a music bed.
Sean, don't say anything.
No, because our listeners.
So all of you just have a bunch of movies next. Like, are you laying with movies, Mike?
Bro, who else am I going to sleep with?
Angel.
Of course I sleep with.
Oh, my favorite Scorsese.
Oh, yeah. No, Alice doesn't live here anymore. It's great. Oh, I came up with a third one. The third one I want to call it's called Phoebes, Fibes, Phobes. And it's about the only thing that scares him.
All right, I have a music bed. So for the next 15 seconds, just start showing movies, Brad and Mike.
Dude, I love For the Apocalypse.
For the Apocalypse is amazing. Michael J. Pollard like a motherfucker. This movie's great. It says out of print. It costs a lot of money, but this is with Sonny Barger and the Real Hell's Angels from the Oakland chapter. Joe Bob does commentary. It's great.
So you just keep showing movies. I'll talk. So yeah, as Sean said, do this like every 2 weeks. A few fun things that we're probably going to do is one, of course, having guests back onto the show, which was something that we started early on the Screamcast. We started this podcast like 7 or 8 years ago?
2014.
Damn.
So yeah, bringing guests back, and then something else that I'm going to do that obviously I've talked to you guys about, but you don't know what I'm going to do, is that, what is that? Is that the Sergio Martino book?
Yeah. Tad Allinger.
Is that, so I have...
Look, you did the Hitcher and I do body parts. Eric Red, like a motherfucker.
Eric Red like a motherfucker.
So what I plan on doing is that just a large collection of work prints that I have. I am going to send everybody on the show, not everybody, just Steph, Sean, and Mike, a work print, and then we'll review it on the Screamcast.
Okay.
Maybe do a comparison against what was released. Mike, do you just have like a DVD stand next to you, or they inside your bed?
Oh, you guys took notes. I just brought over, I've been saving ever since you guys said, hey, can we bring back the Screamcast? I was like, holy shit, all I need to do now is watch movies. I watched so many fucking movies for today, and then I put them all on the bed, and then I jumped on the bed. It was like a Danger Diabolic situation with the money and like deep, deep down, and I'm like swimming in movies, so I have to fucking show them off, Brad. And then look, I wore the Thelma Schumacher shirt today, and then the last one, Family of Cops 3, the best Family of Cops movie. This is like Blue Bloods, but with Charles Bronson and some really confusing kids he has.
All right.
Good times.
All right, I'll turn the music bed off. All right. Where are we at here? See, now my momentum for wrapping the show up is all blasted away because you guys hijacked everything. Thanks, Brad and Mike. I appreciate that. Stephanie, you did not disrupt. So thank you. Stephanie wins the gold star of the podcast.
All right. Next time I'm gonna have piles of movies though. I feel
You know who
left
else
out and
gave
I
out
don't
gold
like it.
stars?
I like
I
your
don't like it
Cannibal
all.
Airlines t-shirt.
Oh
Yeah.
I'm a fan. Or somebody say something? I'm gonna try to wrap up the show. But Brad, were you gonna say
Wrap
one more
it
thing?
up. Come on.
We'll just start
Wrap it up,
talking when you
B.
start talking.
All right. Well, I mean, I can mute you guys' mics on on the recording, so. I
No, I don't want to do that. You'll just
can be a dick.
RIP us again.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining the Screamcast. We're gonna do this every 2 weeks. Every 2 weeks, everybody. We'll talk to all of you later, and thanks for watching and thanks for listening. Bye bye.
Adios.
Don't tell me anything. It's just begun.
Do we want to stay on here? Or no?
Yeah, we'll just fall asleep to each other's voices.
Hunger party.
We'll talk each other. That would be amazing.
Sean's already gone.
Yeah,
He's
Sean-
like, nope.
Sean naturally fell asleep.
That's so funny.
This
Okay.
this does look like teaching Mrs. Tingle.
Yeah,
Does it?
Peach.
Killing